You are listening to the Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast. Sam Levin and Joe Shasky coming at you every week with the best Giants content. Make sure you're liking, reviewing, subscribing, all those things, because we love talking Giants baseball, and we love talking Giants baseball with you. Shasky, I want to play a fun little game here in this second segment of ours. It's a pretty simple game. It's called If It's Stupid and It Works, Is It Still Stupid? Now, the reason I wanted to play this game is because there's a lot of things that the Giants do to win baseball games that I don't think are truly accepted yet by certain sects of the Giants fan base. The more old school, traditional. I think about Papa Shasky. I know he's a big traditionalist.
Yes.
You've been a big traditionalist in a lot of features as well. I know you're trying to get into the nerd stuff, but I know that you're not fully there. It's not Giants fans aren't. It's new. It's different. It's not what we're used to. But some of the things the Giants are doing, while they may seem different or weird or, for lack of a better word, stupid, and I'm not saying what the Giants are doing is stupid. I'm just simply going with the phrase here. Some of these things are working. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to throw some stuff at you, and you tell me that even though it's stupid, is it still working? Ready for this?
Okay.
All right. So the first thing, Grant Brisbee wrote a really cool thing in The Athletic on Friday about how Giants are using their bullpen. You've been talking a lot about how you're kind of concerned about the workload of the bullpen. We asked Dave Fleming about it today on the Morning Roast, and Fleming's comment was just like, no one's really being overworked. I understand the concern, but no one's really gassed. So I want to throw some numbers at you, Shasky. So first off, the bullpen has thrown a lot of innings this year. Before last night, they've thrown 289 innings, which is fourth in Major League Baseball. A lot of innings, that's a lot of workload. Probably doesn't sound very good. The bullpen's also throwing a lot of pitches, 4,728, which is fifth in baseball. But here's where it gets really, really interesting. The Giants bullpen may be working a lot of innings, and they may be throwing a lot of pitches, but they're being very efficient with these pitches. Now, the Giants bullpen is averaging 16.4 pitches per inning, which is third best in baseball.
It's not a
so
lot.
While the bullpen has got a lot of a workload on the surface, overall, they're not being overworked that much. And so when you don't have an overworked bullpen, it makes it a lot easier to take a starter out after 5 innings. We outside of Logan Webb, these guys aren't really going deep. Cobb's been going deep as well too, but guys like Alex Wood or when Sean Manaea was starting, Anthony DeSclafani, sometimes it's a struggle getting him to go deep. I know we like seeing pitchers go deep into games, but the Giants have a bullpen that's not being very overworked right now. So the fact that the Giants are able to get such efficiency from the bullpen is helping them win games. Shasky, even though it sounds stupid to rely so much on the bullpen, is this working?
It is working. Is it sustainable is the question that I have as a follow-up. I don't know. You typically, the way you build a team out is your starters are your better pitchers and your bullpen are guys that couldn't be starters. And so when you have them make a ton of appearances, not only are you flirting with danger and exposure, but other teams get a better scouting report on them. And then eventually they regress back to their means, meaning why they were niche bullpen arms to begin with. I think that they have an elite bullpen. But they desperately need, like right now, they have Logan Webb going 5 innings every single start. That's what he's done this year. 7 innings 8 times, which is tied for Major League lead right now. And then who else?
Yeah.
Who else is going 5 innings?
Yeah, Alex Cobb has been able to go deep.
He's hurt
every now and then. He is hurt right now. But yeah, the rest of the rotation, they don't go very deep into games. Now,
so they need one other guy. They need one other guy to step up. And that's where I'm asking. Alex Wood, it feels like I'm asking a lot from him to go 5 full. It's DeSclafani. When DeSclafani was good for 2021, he was a hog. He hasn't been good long enough. He had the one, maybe 5-week stretch at the beginning of the year this year, but he's been very inconsistent. Tonight is a huge start for him.
Absolutely. I agree. In regards to the bullpen getting gas, though, I do think that is a fair concern to have, especially early on when they're throwing so much. You don't know if the efficiency is going to hold there. But couple guys who are making this a lot easier, though, are Sean Manaea and Jacob Junis.
Yeah.
Because they've been the bulk guys in a lot of these bullpen games. And again, you see all the innings the bullpen's thrown. You've seen all the pitches the bullpen's thrown. A big part of that is because they're using Manaea and Junis out of the bullpen. They're Stripling as well at times when he comes back. But Sean Manaea, I just want to point out his last 7 appearances, 23 innings pitched. He's holding hitters to 198.
Yeah,
that's all out of the bullpen. A lot of it is in bullpen games where he is the bulk innings guy. And, the way the Giants utilize Manaea, the way they utilize Junis, they space them out in a way where even though they're coming out of the bullpen, they're almost being used as starters based on the amount of days off they get. So again, I do encourage everyone listening to go check out that article that Brisby wrote in The Athletic. He goes way more into detail on it in terms of just how the Giants and the way they're spacing out bullpen usage and getting such efficiency out of it to where even though the workload looks like it is a lot, under the surface, they're actually doing a really good job, I think, of balancing things out here.
John Brebbia, who's hurt right now, was awesome. Like, just straight up awesome. I mean, think of how far we've come. At the end of last year, everybody was ready to run him out of town. He's the one who showed up, Kapler. And then this year, he looks amazing. So it sucks that he's hurt right now, but he's been spectacular. And I think at the other end of the spectrum, not a starter or, whatever they call it, the
bolt guy.
You got a closer in Camilo Duvall, who's dynamic. He might be the best weapon in baseball right now.
Absolutely. And I'm really glad you brought up Brebbia because that actually sets up a very easy transition to the next stupid, but it works. It's the opener. The opener has been dragged through the mud so much ever since the Rays debuted it back in 2018. And then it got dragged even more through the mud when the A's tried to use it in the playoffs. Giants fans scowled at it. I remember when Farhan was hired and they were talking about the prospect of using an opener. Jeff Smarja was very against it. He's like, I don't want someone taking my starts. I want to start these games. That was at a time when Smarja had a career 5.01 ERA in the first inning. So, Shasky, the opener's gotten a lot of negative attention. It's looked down upon by traditional baseball fans. The Giants before last night were 6-3 in games in which they used the opener. Now they're 7-3. They had a 2.85 ERA in those games, holding hitters to a 214 batting average and a 614 on base percentage. Based on that, the opener, not the sexiest strategy, not the coolest strategy. It might be a stupid strategy. Is it working?
I think it is. But I much rather prefer a Logan Webb start.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think it's when you're using an opener every 5 games. I think that gets a little concerning, which is kind of what the Giants are.
To me, it's a once every 7 to 10 games.
Yeah, you don't want to rely. I don't really like that they're relying on it as much as they kind of have to. But they're kind of forced to right now.
I agree.
Point. And
I agree.
Even they're losing, like the starting pitching injuries have gotten so bad that even their openers are getting hurt. Brebbia out for 2 months. That's going to be a huge bummer. Scott Alexander, when he comes back, I don't think his absence will be as long. He'll probably be the primary opener. They tried Ryan Walker with it last night. I was a little concerned.
You really like Ryan Walker, huh?
I do like Ryan Walker. I think he's got great stuff. The thing is, and this is something I kind of talked about with Fleming one time, he's only got the 2 pitches, so he really has to be able to nail those 2 pitches. And if he doesn't have them working, that can be a struggle. Putting him in that opener position last night, I thought that was a big ask of the kid and a little rough. He gave up the home run to Soto. But I mean, if that's the one dark mark you have on your outing, you gave up a home run to Juan Soto, not quite Ted Williams comp. I guess you can look the other way on that. Right now, Ryan Walker, he might have to be the opener. It's going to be a tough ask for him. I hope he can hold up and handle it because the Giants, unfortunately, they're going to have to be a little more reliant on the opener because all indications right now that they don't really have a plan to move Sean Manaea back into the starting rotation anytime soon.
Did you have to go Ted Williams comp on the Juan Soto thing and trigger?
Only because we went off about it on the show this morning. So
Juan Soto's a great player. Ted Williams is one of the top 25 players of all time. Ted Williams had a 344 batting average over 19 seasons. Yeah. Ted Williams had a 492 on base percentage over 19 seasons. Ted Williams missed 3+ years of his prime fighting in a fighter pilot jet overseas in World War II, trying to win for us, capitalists, America. Are you kidding me? And I love Juan Soto. He's had 2 seasons where he's batted over 300 of his 7+ seasons. Pump the brakes.
All right, so the last thing I want to get into on whether it's stupid and it works is the line change. Now, we all know that late in the games, Kapler loves to bring in his pinch hitters. The Giants do lead the league in pinch hitting again this year. They've been basically leading the league in pinch hitting the last 3 years. The downside of having so many guys come in late is that it can deplete your bench. Yeah. And so if the game goes extra innings, that can kind of create its own special sort of headaches. There's a couple times in 2021, I don't remember specifics, but I do remember there were times where it's the 11th, 12th, 13th inning, and you're just like, oh my God, we have no one left. How are we in this position? It's because the line, what they call the line change. Now, as frustrating as it could be, Shasky, ever since the Giants got their full healthy lineup a couple weeks ago, They've rattled off 6 wins in which they were trailing in the 6th inning or later. So a couple numbers for you.
Slater's been awesome in that period.
Slater's been great. He had, what was it? It was the first win in Colorado. They brought him off the bench to face the lefty.
Awesome.
Hits the double, kick starts the rally. That's why they do the line change. Now, in the 6th inning, the Giants have a 739 on base plus slugging OPS. That's 9th in baseball. In the 7th inning, they have a 795 OPS. That's 5th in baseball. In the 8th inning, it goes up to it's a 768 OPS. That's 6th in baseball. In the 9th inning, they have a 790 OPS, which is 4th in baseball. Wow. Shasky, can you try to take a guess? How many other teams do you think can say are in the top 10 in OPS in the last 4 innings of a baseball game?
I don't know, 4?
No, none of them. Only the Giants. The Giants are the only team that could say that they are the top 10 of OPS in the last 4 innings. Scoring, they're 10th in scoring in the 6th inning, 6th in the 7th inning, 13th in the 8th, and they're 2nd in scoring in the 9th inning.
Wow.
They are in the last 3 innings overall. They're scoring on average 1.68 runs per game in those last 3 innings. Only the Diamondbacks and Dodgers have done better. Wow. So it's clearly obvious. The line changes, they may seem stupid. They may seem frustrating. Are they working?
I think they are working. Clearly, the data is telling you it's working. And then look at the win-loss record. And I look at, it's not just offensively. To me, they've made timely defensive substitutions as well, bringing Schmidt in to play shortstop late in games, using his arm because his arm is dynamic right now. Like, I think they're firing on all cylinders, and it shows you why, like right now, they've got some injuries. It could maybe hamper them, and it hasn't hurt them yet. And I'm just kind of waiting for the wheels to fall off when it comes to the pitching. But like Haniger out, they're better defensively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you really haven't noticed Haniger's absence at all, really, have you? Like, no. It's you'd think a guy like that, Luna's going to triple the lineup, and him and Wilmer Flores too, another guy who out of the lineup. I don't like those 2 guys. I don't think the lineup's going to lose all that much of a step with those 2 guys out. And again, Shasky, the Giants this year are 8-19, I believe, when trailing after 6 innings. 6 of those wins have come in the last 2 weeks. And again, I don't think it's a coincidence that when they finally had their fully healthy lineup together, which they didn't have until they went to Colorado a couple weeks ago, they're all of a sudden rattling off these comeback wins. Now, are they going to be rattling off, 6 comeback wins every 14 days? Probably not. But I think it's official. The Giants late in games, like, they're a big threat. I'm watching the game last night. They're down 4-0 in the 6th inning. I'm talking with Bonte. We're doing our show call. And I'm like, oh, hey, Yaz just hit a home run. It's like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. And I said to him, watch, these guys are going to win this game. Like, the Giants are going to come back and they're going to win this game. And we're going to stay up and watch the whole thing. And we're going to be going nuts about it. He's like, yeah, you're probably right. Lo and behold, that's what they do. Like, I never thought I'd be in a position where it's like, yeah, I think they'll come back here. And then they did. Like, that's where we're at right now.
That was the hallmark of 2021.
It really was. And that's kind of what's given this season, I think, all of a sudden a 2021 feel. When they had, like, 2021, they were pretty healthy most of the year. Outside of Brandon Belt, the Giants had really good injury luck from what I recall. I don't think any major names in that lineup were missing a ton of time. And the comeback was a huge part of that season. When the Giants have their full complement of weapons, they are very dangerous late in games because of the way they play the matchups. They love playing those matchups, and it makes life very, very difficult for opposing teams.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And I feel like Kapler really has his guys ready to go when he calls their number. So it feels like they're clearly ahead of the game in the middle innings before a guy even gets called on. Don't they always feel like they're prepared to contribute?
Absolutely. And I think that's part of that. Give a shout out to Gabe Kapler for having, in this coaching staff, for having these guys prepared.
Yes.
Cassie, their big thing is it's always communication. They're always big on communicating with their players during the season, in the offseason. You ask these players, what's the big thing about this coaching staff? And it's all about how they communicate with you. Yep. This coaching staff, they really have these guys so over-prepared. And Kapler, he knows when to go to these guys.
Yeah.
And credit him for putting the guys in position to succeed, which I really don't think they really had that option to do that last year.